Fox Sports.
Ticket demand for Twins games at Target Field extremely high, especially when the Yankees are in town, and they're in town for their first visit to Target Field. And the Twins hope there'll somehow be some carryover to what happened at Yankee Stadium in the final game there when Jason Kubel hit the home run that took a win away from Joe Girardi and the Yankees. And welcome to Target Field, 1st and 3 between the Twins and the New York Yankees. Dick Bramer along with Burt Blyleven, two teams that have identical records as we begin this series, and two teams that have an awful lot of frontline players.
Well, they really do. You look at the Yankees, you look at the Minnesota Twins, you think of Derek Jeter with the New York Yankees, 2,800 hits in his career. And, of course, Joe Mauer, he's a leading vote getter in the All-Star team for the American League. You can see the total votes. Derek Jeter second. Both these guys, you know, MVP last year, Joe Mauer, he has had a very good, he's got a lot of success against the New York Yankees. Last two seasons, hitting .350, 4 home runs, 8 RBIs. What Joe wants is to get some of those guys ahead of him on the base paths so he can do something just like that. I mean, he hits to all fields, but you'll see all the hits for Joe Mauer going the other way, and that's how good a hitter he is. Wherever you pitch him, that man can just flat out hit.
Well, the Yankees come to town. They're a little banged up right now, and if anything, the Twins are a little bit healthier than they have been.
Well, you know what? I mean, you look at the Yankees, they're without Jorge Posada. They have missed some guys, but the Minnesota Twins, you know, it's a well-balanced ball club, so they're very happy to have J.J. Hardy back. Hardy missed some ball games, 17 to be exact, and he told us before the ball game that he's really anxious to get back in that lineup and help not only defensively but also offensively.
Well, the Twins hope to at least win this series and do to the Yankees what the Yankees did to the Twins in their home ballpark. And to that degree, we've got the same starting pitchers that we had in the opening game at Yankee Stadium a couple weeks ago. A.J. Burnett against Scott Baker. Is brought to you by your local Northland Ford dealers. Visit your local Northland Ford dealer or go to northlandford.com. By Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. And by GMC. We are professional grade.
We welcome you back to Twins Baseball on Fox Sports North. In just a couple moments, it's the Twins and the New York Yankees from Target Field. There's a shot of the first base lounge. You can find that down the right field line here at Target Field. I'm Robbie Mikowski here inside the First Base Lounge. And when the weather gets hot on a night like tonight, come on in here. Get a little air conditioning, get a little food, even get a cold bottle of water. Now, you need a dugout box ticket to find your way here into the First Base Lounge. There's also one on the third base side. And in this lounge, you'll find artwork honoring former Twins great first basemen like Justin Morneau, Harmon Killebrew, Ken Herbeck. And take a look at the end of the bar. Ron Coomer, honored for his 6 years of service in a Minnesota Twins uniform. When we come back, it's Dick Kramer and Bert Blyleven with First Pitch next on Fox Sports North.
Twins taking the field for the first and only series this year between the Twins and the Yankees here. And it begins tonight with the two teams not identical in strengths and weaknesses, but they do have identical records as this series gets started. And the Menards batting order for the New York Yankees, coming off a tough weekend against the Mets in New York. Derek Jeter leading things off. Brett Gardner will hit second for New York. Mark Teixeira slumping, but he certainly put up good numbers against the Twins. Alex Rodriguez, Robinson Cano, Nick Swisher, Juan Miranda, Francisco Cervelli, and Kevin Russo.
And the Dodge-Ram scouting report on Scott Baker making his 10th start of the year. And one thing about Scott Baker this year, he has started the game very strong. A lot of shutout innings in the first 3 innings, but it's inning 4 through 6 that have been the problem. In innings 1 through 3, an ERA of 1.66 in the 27 innings he's worked so far. But in innings 4, 5, 6, He's worked 24 innings and given up 23 earned runs.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins. An outfield tonight of Delman Young in left, and Art Span in center, Michael Kadire in right. Good to have J.J. Hardy back in the lineup. Brendan Harris at third. Hudson Morneau the right side of the infield. Mauer behind the plate. J.J. Hardy had a workout here yesterday during the off day. Told Ron Gardenhire he thought he was ready to go. They put him in the lineup subject to some early hitting, and he passed with flying colors.
He said he feels great. He's looking forward to contributing. You know, no player likes to sit. And J.J. Hardy, one of those players, he wants to be out on that field.
Some threatening clouds moving in, but we'll at least get started on time. Chance of thunder showers here later on tonight. We'll see whether we have an uninterrupted game. Jeter, Gardner, and Teixeira to get things started.
Well, Baker making his 5th career start against the Yankees, his 2nd this year.
First pitch, hack foul.
Baker will try to establish that fastball. He works up in the zone. He'll get some fly ball outs more than ground ball outs. You see the numbers of Jeter. When he was in New York, he was hitting over 300 when the Twins were there. He's been struggling a little bit at the plate.
Outside, 1-1. Baker pitched well enough to win. The Twins had a lead when he came out of the game, but that was the game where the Twins gave up the big grand slam to Alex Rodriguez and lost the opener at Yankee Stadium. Bounce right side. Hudson throws on the run, 1 away. And one thing we've seen, Bert, from Baker in his last couple of starts, getting more outs on the ground. He's typically been a fly ball pitcher.
Well, you know what? I mean, he tries to make the adjustment to the stuff he has in a bullpen. I've talked to Baker about that. And that's one thing I think through maturity and just being out there, he realizes he's not going to be the same pitcher night after night or performance after performance. So he has to find out which breaking ball is working better, the curveball or the slider. My control of my fastball, which is usually pretty good for Baker, you know, like that pitch right there, just taking a little off, a 90-mile-an-hour fastball rather than 93 or 4. Get strike 1. Baker has only walked 12 batters in 55 1/3 innings. That's just 2 walks per 9 innings.
And just missing inside, 1-1. In his last start, Baker got 8 ground ball outs and 6 fly ball outs. Gardner getting a chance to play in center field. Curtis Granderson working his way back toward health and a spot in the lineup. And it's punched to center field, a base hit. So Gardner's been struggling a little bit, but he brings his hot hitting against the Twins into this series and gets a hit in his first at bat.
Let's take a look at the Lincoln Mercury key stat on Scott Baker. In 4 starts here, he's 3-1 and very good ERA compared to the 5 starts he's been on the road. And I know I did listen to Ron Coomer and Tim Laudner talking about that. And Baker is a fly ball pitcher. We haven't seen a lot of fly balls leave in the gaps. And that's, if he does give up fly balls, that's where he'd like the Yankees to hit him. Hit him toward Denard Span.
Well, I'll admit to having an untrained eye. I'll also tell you that I know batting practice doesn't matter, but it was my impression watching teams take batting practice here today that with the heat and the humidity, the ball did seem to carry better than some other games that we've seen here. We'll just have to wait and see.
Right. I think that's the big question mark. What will they do? Let's turn a double play. That's what the Twins will do.
Teixeira taps it to the shortstop Hardy, who starts a double play. Baker through the first inning on 8 pitches. for this long without eventually a thunderstorm coming, and we've got them coming from the southern part of the state up here. The Menards batting order for the Minnesota Twins. Denard Span leading things off. Orlando Hudson, Joe Mauer, Justin Morneau. Morneau, the tremendous month of May he's put together so far, leading the league in hitting. Michael Kadire, Jason Kubel, Delman Young, J.J. Hardy, and Brendan Harris.
And the Chief scouting report on right-handed starter A.J. Burnett making his 10th start, just like Scott Baker. He's looking to get back to his April form where he was 3-0 in 5 starts and a very good 2.43 ERA. Over his last 4 starts, 1 win, 2 losses, but an ERA at almost 6. But he has been very durable, a guy that when he first came up to the big leagues spent 10 times on a disabled list in 7 seasons. But over the last 2+ years, he has not missed a start.
Here's Span to get things started. Just 1 loss to the Twins in 7 starts, yet, Bert, I think the Twins have had a very good approach against him. They've been patient with him. At times they've drawn an awful lot of walks from him, and in his start against the Twins in New York, 1-1, they had a threat to score in just about every inning, and it was one of those games where they did not get a big hit to put a bigger number up against him.
A.J. Burnett is one of those starters that if you let him walk you, he will, but the key to him is his fastball, and then if he gets ahead, then he'll work in that good breaking ball that he has.
And that's a base hit to right. A good start to the series for Denard Span. Northland Ford defense for the Yankees, and you might not recognize some of these names. The left fielder is Kevin Russo, a New York native just called up. Brett Gardner in center, Nick Swisher in right. You recognize the names on the left side of the infield. Miranda replacing Teixeira at first. Teixeira the designated hitter. Cervelli behind the plate. And there is Russo in left field. Yankees really banged up.
Yeah, Marcus Thames with a sprained right ankle, so he is not playing in today's ball game.
Here's Hudson, has the average at 306 thanks to a good month of May. And he takes a strike at the knees.
And Hudson hitting even better as a left-handed hitter, hitting .319 as a left-handed hitter, .283 from the right side of the plate. The 2 home runs as a right-handed hitter.
Up high, and Cervelli with a look back at first. Span stutter stepping his way away from the first base bag.
Yeah, Denard leading the Twins with 10 stolen bases in the 11 attempts. A.J. Burnett, a guy that you can run on, but Cervelli's done a very good job of throwing out runners, about 60%, 13 of 21. Burnett will go with that high leg kick, bring it about his belt like that.
Span goes on an off-speed pitch, and he'll swipe second base. So much of successful stealing is stealing on the right pitch, and I think the Twins picked a good one there.
Well, you know what, and I don't know if the Yankees used more than one sign with a runner on first, or maybe Denard Span looked in, and if Cervelli only uses one pitch, and if he puts down 2 or 3 or a wiggle, that's the pitch that a runner at first base sometimes will peek in and maybe get an opportunity to steal that base. Joe Girardi, a former catcher right there, and the manager of the Yankees.
2-2 to Hudson.
So Span steals his 11th base, and now it's up to Hudson to hopefully get him over to third or drive him in.
And the Twins, by and large, have done a very good job at home scoring first. In the Milwaukee series, they had a 7-run first. Next day, they scored 4 in the first. Breaking ball, missing, close pitch, and it's a full count.
Burnett a couple of years ago led the American League in strikeouts. That slider just missing down. So far on the year, 40 strikeouts and 58 in the 3rd innings pitch.
Full count to Hudson with Mauer on deck.
Burnett sometimes will work that fastball middle in and then hopefully catch that inner half of the plate. And that's where Cervelli is sitting inside.
That's to the gap in left center field, and Gardner will make the catch on the line drive, one away. One down, Mauer coming to the plate, and this reminder, the Twins baseball is brought to you in Sony High Definition. Mentioned that the Twins have had a good approach against Burnett. In his last, and this is counting the playoffs now, in his last 25 innings, the Twins have taken 19 walks. And one of those walks issued to Mauer in Burnett's start against the Twins at Yankee Stadium. And Mauer's second home run of the season came against Burnett. Inside, a ball.
Alex Burnett, 33 years old, in his second season with the Yankees, his 12th major league season, signed as a free agent. A.J. Burnett, 5-year contract.
Fastball on the inside corner, 1-1.
A.J. Burnett, Alan James Burnett, originally signed by the Mets back in 1995, came up with the Marlins, also spent time with the Blue Jays.
1-1 to Mauer, and wide of the plate, 2-1. Twins haven't hit a home run in 6 games, but they've got 2 of the top 3 hitters in the league. Morneau with a comfortable lead now over Ichiro, and Mauer figures to be in the batting race all year long.
And he may win his 4th batting title.
Just think of that. Something that no American League catcher had ever done. And this guy's done it 3 times before his 27th birthday.
Yeah, his first one in 2006 when he hit .347. Then a couple years ago, hit .328 in 2008. Last year, hit .365 to win his 3rd American League batting title. People say, well, it's a gift, but you know what? He works his tail end off to keep that gift at the high level. He's able to keep it.
High hopper over the mound. Jeter scoops and fires on the play. Span advances to third, and it'll be left to Morneau. So 2 down, and Morneau will come to the plate, as we showed you, having a very good month of May. The .383 batting average, impressive. Now you mix in the other numbers. He's 3 home runs off the league lead and 6 runs batted in off the league lead. Some teams shift for Morneau. The Yankees, at least on the first pitch, do not.
Yeah, Alex Rodriguez, a third baseman, is playing off the line, so Span can get off as far as Rodriguez is from third base bag. But with 2 outs, a base hit will score him anyway. And Burnett, but he does have 3 wild pitches.
Up and in, and it's 2-0.
So I'd be surprised right here if he gives Justin a good pitch to hit. I know it's early in the ball game, but Justin has been red hot.
Brewers walked him 4 times in the last 2 games of the series. And he takes one at the knees, 2-1.
Justin 5 for 17 lifetime against A.J. Burnett with a home run.
And now 3-1 with Cuddyer on deck.
He's missed with that breaking ball a couple times wide outside to left-handed hitters. Did it with Mauer, did it just right there to Justin.
3-1. Popped up, back, and out of play. Just over our heads.
Well, Cervelli sitting way inside, and Justin hitting it straight back.
Morneau hit the last Twins home run at the Rogers Center. Twins played the final game in Toronto, the 2 in Boston, and the entire Milwaukee series without hitting one. 3-2 to Morneau. Outside, he draws another walk. And that'll get Kanier to the plate with 2 men aboard. That incidentally will get Morneau's on-base percentage up to 500. I guess the percentage should be 50, but every other time he's come to the plate, he's been on base. And we'll see what Kanier can do about getting the Twins that first lead.
And Kanier just 2 for 16 against Burnett over their meetings. One of the hits a double.
Cervelli sets up away, and Kanier fouls a pitch inside, straight back. So we've seen Burnett miss his intended target both within and outside the strike zone.
Yeah, with numerous pitches, the breaking ball, the fastballs. So just trying to feel his way, and this is where you want to get a guy like Burnett too, early in the ball game before he can find that control of his fastball.
Bouncer to short should get Burnett and the Yankees out of the inning. So the Twins leave 2 aboard. Another threat against Burnett, but they can't break through.
And the New York Yankees from Target Field. I'm Robbie Smikowski, and what do you know? I've weaseled my way into some free ice cream here. You can get it on the concourse. I got some Dippin' Dots cookies and cream right here, Dick and Bert. You can see the North Shore Creamery. When the weather gets hot like this, you need some ice cream to cool it down a little bit. I opted for the Dippin' Dots because I like cookies and cream. But right behind home plate, in fact, between home plate and third base on the main concourse, you can get something to cool down on a hot night like tonight. So Dick and Bert, you guys enjoy yourself up there. I'm going to keep eating.
Yeah, don't be afraid to bring us some.
Strike 1 to Alex Rodriguez. How about Robbie's little visit to the first base lounge? And he pointed out that Ron Coomer was, a picture of him was at the end of the bar. Can you imagine such a thing? Ron Coomer at the end of the bar.
At the end of the bar, no.
1-1 to Alex Rodriguez. He'll be followed by Robinson Cano and Nick Swisher. Twins also have a complimentary third base lounge where they honor third basemen. Up the middle, and the ball hopped over the glove of Hudson, who might have had a play on Rodriguez. So a hop over the glove. I don't know if it hit the edge of the grass and kicked up, but a base hit to center for Alex Rodriguez.
Hudson, you can see that ball kind of came up on him. He expected to stay down and kind of popped over his glove. So a sharply hit ball up the middle, the second hit for the Yankees.
And that'll bring up Robinson Cano. Had a tremendous month of April and has cooled off considerably in May. So Rodriguez's base hit, a ground ball, as Baker gets a swing and a miss on Cano. These teams not only have identical records, but as you break down the game into pitching and hitting and defense, they're right next to each other in all the league rankings too. The Yankees second in the league in hitting, the Twins third. The Yankees fourth in the league in pitching, the Twins fifth. The Twins first in the league defensively, and the Yankees second. So different styles, granted, but so far the two teams off to very similar starts. And Ron Gardenhire hoping that the last game at Yankee Stadium will exercise some demons against the Yankees. Another ground ball. 1, 2. So Baker, 5 ground ball outs and a couple of double plays here in the opening innings.
Good fastball in on Teixeira to end the first inning on a double play ball. And right there, another fastball to Cano, inner half of the plate. And Cano beats it into the ground. Quick turn. J.J. Hardy. Good relay over to Justin.
So 2 down, bases empty, and here comes Nick Swisher.
Baker had had been able to only get 2 ground ball double plays behind him in his first 9 starts, and here in the first 2 innings, he's had a couple double plays turned behind him.
Swisher, when we were in New York, had an arm injury that bothered him when he was trying to hit left-handed, so he didn't do much of that. Now his arm's feeling better, and he's in there as a left-handed batter against the righty Baker. We saw Swisher, and it's not very often you'll see it, hitting right-handed against a right-handed batter in one of the at-bats. Still has that right arm wrapped.
A big old pad on that arm. And leans it out over the plate.
Big swing and a foul, 1 and 2.
Well, the key to Baker again, for any pitcher, get ahead in the count. He's faced 6 batters, been able to get strike 1 on all 6. And usually we'll see that from Baker. He'll throw about 70% throughout the ball game strikes. Excellent control. Rick Anderson, the pitching coach, watching young Scott Baker go to work.
1 and 2. Breaking ball up and away, 2 and 2.
Baker making his 5th career start against the Yankees. 2 wins, 2 losses.
And a strikeout of Swisher ends the inning. A couple of hits for the Yankees, but a couple of double play grounders for Scott Baker. Jason Kubel will try to get things started for the Twins offensively. Minnesota.com. Plan your next Minnesota vacation today. That happens to be Gull Lake in the center of the Brainerd Lakes area. Might be the most recreational part of the state of Minnesota. So much great lakeshore up there, great lakes for fishing, swimming, boating, skiing. 465 lakes in the Brainerd Lakes area. Bottom of the second, and Jason Kubel will get things started for the Twins against A.J. Burnett.
Yeah, Kubel celebrating his 28th birthday tonight, and he's had good numbers against A.J. Burnett. 7 hits and 20 at-bats, a .350 batting average with a double.
Lifted down the left field line near the tarp. And out of play. 2 strikes. And Kubel, of course, in his last at-bat against the Yankees. Well, she's celebrating a birthday, too.
Yes, very nice. You are hereby circled.
Kubel, in his last at-bat against the Yankees, hit one of the more dramatic home runs in recent Twins history, if not the last 50 years. To turn that game around, as the Twins did, to steal the Yankees' lunch after having it stolen so many times by the Yankees, certainly the biggest win of the year for the Twins.
Well, during the regular season, we know that the Twins have struggled in New York, but since Ron Gardenhire's been a manager, the Twins are actually, there's a breaking ball right there, and Kubel striking out on his birthday, which isn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
A.J. Burnett must not know it's his birthday. Burnett picks up his first strikeout. The Twins are 11 and 18 against the Yankees here. Big slow breaking ball, and Kubel swings through it.
So 1 gone, and here's Delman Young. The rain beginning to fall here at Target Field. Down and away, ball 1. Burnett really has been struggling, as Bert mentioned, over his last 3 starts. 9 runs allowed against the Red Sox, 3 against the Twins, 6 against the Rays. Hard ground ball hit to Cano, and Young is retired on number 2. And that'll bring up J.J. Hardy. Hardy back in the lineup. Missed about 2.5 weeks with a bruise in his left wrist. The bruise suffered when he slid into third with a big triple late in the ball game about 2.5 weeks ago. Strike 1 in the inside corner.
I talked to J.J. Hardy. He's got that wrist wrapped a little bit. He said if he does get on first base, he will have some gloves in his hand. But, you know, when you hit that triple, you don't have a chance to maybe pull out gloves in the back of your pocket as you're around the second base. So when you do slide, you kind of keep your hands up.
He says during batting practice, taking 10 swings, 8 swings, 7, whatever, that's when the wrist bothers him. But within an at-bat, figure typical at-bat, 2-3 swings, it doesn't or shouldn't bother him that much. Checks his swing there, and that might be a little troublesome. 1-2. And it's a shame, of course, Hardy couldn't play against his former team, the Brewers, over the weekend. Hopefully we'll get that chance when we go to Milwaukee in June. It's hit well to right center field. Chased by the right fielder Swisher, and it's off the wall. And Hardy jumps back into the lineup.
Stand up
with an extra base hit.
No sliding allowed.
So a 2-out double to right center field for J.J. Hardy.
I got a fastball right there and just went with it. Pitch left up a little bit, and Hardy hits this ball sharply over the head of Swisher, and this might be the first sign that we see that ball carrying a little bit. A lot of times we've seen balls hit like that caught on the track. So J.J. Hardy with a double, his 5th double of the year. He's in scoring position with 2 outs.
Here's Harris. Ball 1. Harris struggling offensively. Nick Punto still struggling with a strained left middle finger suffered while swinging the bat over the weekend. So the hope is Punto is available as a pinch runner tonight. Won't be asked to hit. Might be ready to play tomorrow night. Foul back, 1-1. Punto 1 for 13 in his career against A.J. Burnett. So not the best night to bring him back into the lineup anyway.
Well, Harris 2 for 12, a 167 batting average, but he does have a home run against A.J. Burnett. So that's the positive right there.
Here the Twins would love to get a 2-out base hit.
Yep.
Anywhere in the outfield grass to drive in the first run of the game. On the outside corner. And Harris has been struggling, and what we saw in the series finale against Milwaukee, maybe the struggles getting to him a little bit to the point of losing some aggressiveness at the plate.
He seems to be taking a lot of pitches.
See what he gets here from Burnett on 1 and 2. And he takes a breaking ball low, 2 and 2. See the rain falling, and we expect it to rain for a little while, and then hopefully it'll clear out without an interruption. There's Hardy with the left wrist brace on. Pounded foul at the plate.
Yeah, not only the left wrist brace, he also has some batting gloves in that hand to remind him, don't drag that hand. If I do, keep that fist.
In the old days, they used to carry dirt, right? Some of the base runners would just put dirt in their hands to keep themselves from jamming an open hand into the ground.
Some of the infields were so bad, too, they used to just pick up rocks. Carry rocks to the next base.
2 and 2 to Harris. And now a full count with Span on deck.
See if he gets a fastball right here.
Outside. So the number 9 hitter walks.
I know Tim Blotter's down in that camera well. Timmy, we talked about Brendan Harris struggling at the plate offensively, but as a hitter, sometimes don't you start kind of guessing a little bit? But a good walk right there by Harris.
It was a really good at bat by Brendan. He worked A.J. Burnett pretty well, and you know what? When you go up to the plate and you don't have your best confidence, you need to relax and make sure that you have a good at bat against a pretty good pitcher. Brendan Harris just did that. He's going to give Denard Span an opportunity to make a big 2-out hit here.
Span singled his first time up, got as far as third base. Inside, in off the hands, ball 1. And the rain coming down a little harder. Up the middle, but Jeter is there. And another ground ball to the shortstop to end the inning. The Twins strand 2 more. They've left 4 on through 2. Start here. By Lincoln Mercury. Visit your local Lincoln Mercury dealer or go to experiencelm.com. And by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T. Rethink possible. Each team with a pair of hits. Twins have left 4 on. The Yankees haven't left anybody on because Scott Baker's been getting ground balls and getting some double play grounders. Here's Juan Miranda leading off the third. Hits one in the air down the left field line. Harris makes the catch in foul ground, staring up into the raindrops. One away. And before Francisco Cervelli comes to the plate, tickets are available for the Twins games against the Royals on June 8th through the 10th. And it's the best plan for you to call ahead and get your ticket purchases this year because of the high demand. To reserve your seats for the Twins and Royals games coming up in the next homestand, call 833-TWINS or log on to twinsbaseball.com tonight. It's remarkable how very quickly, Bert, this region has embraced this ballpark, and the demand for tickets so high. We can't stress enough the importance of calling ahead, making your plans, because the days of calling on the day of the game and getting tickets probably are long gone for a while.
I think so much of it is word of mouth, too. They get a chance to watch it on the telecast, or they hear it from John and Dan explaining, the field conditions and the beautiful complex the Twins have put together here, that fans want to come out.
2-0, and Cervelli takes a strike.
I've run into so many people myself that say, they have certain dates that they're coming out for the first time because tickets were hard to get.
Right. And that's a perspective we probably, or at least I probably, shouldn't lose, that we're here for every game. Bouncer to short. Hardy has it. 2 away. So many people get to see this ballpark, and the newness of this ballpark will be enjoyed for years to come. You can submit a question or comment online at carsoup.com/baseball. Heidi Paulson from Dodge Center, Minnesota, wondering how the grounds crew does the TC logo on the back of the pitching mound. Well, it's actually pretty simple. They just put some water on a stencil behind the mound and just darken it. It's not a different colored dirt or anything like that. Because their pitching mound is made of clay, it holds water.
I thought they had an artist on the ground crew that would go out there and just do it by hand.
See, I thought it was aliens who appeared here overnight. Like the crop circles that you see every once in a while.
Very nice.
There it is.
Good job, guys.
And then it rains, as it is now, and I suspect the TC will be less visible. That's to right field, and Kadair running towards the line makes the catch, and it's another quick inning for Scott Baker through the third inning on just 8 pitches. think will be the Arby's value player of the game. Text the word value followed by a space and the player's name to short code 234234. Joe Mauer at 22%. Morneau, Baker, Hardy. And Mauer hoping to pick up some more votes with a good at bat here in the third inning. Hudson had a long at bat and hit the ball hard at the end of the at bat, but he lined out to the center fielder Gardner and failed to get Span from second to third in the first inning. Twins didn't score. Well, Hudson now trying to start a rally in the third. 2-0. Jake Peavy knocked out after 6 innings. 6 earned runs allowed for the Cleveland Indians, and Cleveland leading Chicago 6-2 in the 7th. Now another grounder to Jeter. They're keeping him busy. 1 away. So 4th assist already for Derek Jeter. And Bauer, who grounded out to Jeter in the first, will hit next. You know, the Yankee dominance over the Twins, certainly they had it at Yankee Stadium, but you would expect that. The surprising thing is how well they've played here over the last few years, and particularly in the postseason. The Yankees are 5-0 in Minnesota in the postseason. They won all 5 postseason games at the Metrodome. Mauer fouls it back. Except last year when the Twins could very easily have won game 2. But in the other years when they played the Yankees and opened at Yankee Stadium, they always came back with 1 win out of 2. And then the Yankees ran the table here in Minnesota.
You know, Tim Laudner, I know you're down there in that camera roll again. Just that sometimes what Dick's talking about, as a player, sometimes when you face a club like the Yankees, they have 27 world championships on their side. Sometimes you try a little bit too hard.
Yeah, you know what, Bert? I got to tell you something. When you play, to me, when you play the New York Yankees, they put their pants on just like everybody else. I know that I never cared about the 27 world championships. I never cared about all the great Yankee legends. We had a game to play, and I know you felt the same way too, Bert.
Gardner retreats, makes the catch in the gap, 2 down.
But still, Tim, there's something, you know, I mean, you look at the Yankees, they're able to go out and get some of the better players in the game of baseball. And, you know, maybe now that the Twins have this new ballpark, they're going to keep a guy like Joe Mauer or a guy like Justin Morneau under long-term contracts. That's just going to help the Twins. There's CC Sabathia, A.J. Burnett, 2 free agents they're able to get.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, when, you know, to be able to go out and sign long-term Denard Span, Justin Morneau, and Joe Mauer, that's a big deal.
Get out of here.
Morneau to right field. Swisher back with room. It died just short of the limestone facing of the overhang. And we've got a scoreless third. We'll head to the 4th with Burnett getting through the 3rd inning on 7 pitches. Face the minimum number of hitters.
Yeah, only 27 pitches used for Scott Baker, getting ahead. Strike one on 8 of the 9 batters he's faced. A.J. Burnett, a lot of pitches thrown, 48 pitches in his 3 innings. And the Yankees have a couple hits in the ball game, but Scott Baker's been able to get a couple double plays turned behind him. And the Twins have 2 hits.
Rain coming down pretty hard, as you can see. And Jeter will lead things off in the 4th. To this point, we have not had a delay here at Target Field. We've had a postponement, and in the Boston series, they took a little extra time between innings to treat the mound in the home plate area, but we've not had the tarp on the field yet. Bouncer right side, and that one skips past Hudson into center field. The Yankees get their 3rd hit.
Well, this is a part of the game that has really hampered Scott Baker this year. 7 times in 10 starts he's been able to go into that 3rd inning or 4th inning with shutout baseball, but innings 4 through 6 you see the high earned run average, and then 7th after that, or after 7 innings. But this is a part of the game that Baker, that fastball maybe loses a little bit, he's still trying to find that groove. Now the rain coming down harder.
Some of the fans going for cover with the rain coming straight down very hard. Up and away, ball 1. Gardner singled, looped a soft line drive into center field, and then was promptly doubled up in the Teixeira at bat. Harrison on the grass at 3rd, and now inside 2-0.
Yeah, Baker's given up 30 earned runs so far this year, 11 coming in the 4th inning. Well, again, this is a part of the game that Baker really needs to put some zeros on the board.
Two and 0 to Gardner. Pitch up high. It's 3-0. Gardner takes here with nobody out in the inning.
I think he'd make Baker throw a strike right here.
And he delivers up high. It's a 4-pitch walk, and now the Yankees have a threat quickly here in the 4th inning. First and second, nobody out. Teixeira at the plate. Grounded into a double play in the 1st inning. Teixeira, it looked like it was breaking out of his typical April slump when the Twins were in New York. But when the Twins left town, Teixeira went back into a slump. Little pop-up behind first. Infield fly rules called, so Teixeira's out, 1 away.
Oh, good pitch right there. A little cutter right there, and Teixeira popping it up for the 1st out. A big out for Baker and the Twins. Watch the slider right here. A little break right there. Teixeira a little out front. He's really had trouble from the left side of the plate, hitting only 185 as a left-handed hitter, Mark Teixeira.
Fox Tracks brought to you by the Minnesota Department of Public Safety. Here's Rodriguez. Grounded a single up the middle to lead off the 2nd. And Baker misses up high. Earlier we were showing you the TC logo behind the mound. We mentioned that the mound is made of clay, and one of the reasons it's made of clay is for weather conditions like this, right? I mean, it can rain and rain and rain, but the clay will keep the footing pretty stable.
Yeah, absorbs the moisture pretty good. Good fastball down and away. As a pitcher, you don't really care around that pitching rubber how wet it gets. It's where you land. See Scott Baker trying to get some of the dirt out of his spikes.
And when we get here before the game, hours before the game, or even afterwards, you'll see the grounds crew packing with like a plunger type thing of the dirt in front of the rubber. Swinging a foul, 1 and 2.
The changeup right there. Yeah, the harder clay is kind of like right in front of the pitching rubber, and then where they land. And then around the mound itself is a little softer.
Wildlife here at Target Field.
I wonder if he had to get a ticket.
Brendan Harris a little spooked by the squirrel.
Bob Thompson, third base coach, saying, get out of here.
Heading out to Delman Young. I remember years ago, about 15 years ago, there was a squirrel at Yankee Stadium, and it was the scrawniest looking thing I'd ever seen, and he was running up the support wires at Yankee Stadium. At least this thing is on the field. Where it came from, I have no idea. And Chris Guccione going to let play resume here with the squirrel right now in the left field corner. 1 and 2. Rodriguez strikes out in an interrupted at bat, 2 down.
All right, probably blame it on the squirrel. Baker picking up his second strikeout. And the squirrel, I think, has found some shelter. A good fastball right here. Rodriguez swinging at a pitch up in the strike zone.
Seeking shelter. Here's Cano. Cano bounced into a double play his first time up. Yankees with runners at first and second. Nobody out. And Baker's gotten Teixeira and Rodriguez. And he misses inside to Cano.
And Mauer going out to talk to Baker.
Most teams the Twins face with the squirrel. And to find some means of getting out of this bright ballpark.
You must have heard about the bullpens. There's a lot of nuts out there.
Stealthily sneaking under the wall where it's dry.
Poor little guy.
1-0 to Cano. Harris will chase it, but not be able to get there. Most teams the Twins face within the division or outside the division will have potent hitters hitting third and fourth. One of the problems the Twins have had in years past, you get Teixeira, you get Rodriguez. Now you got to face a guy hitting fifth who's got power, and he might win a batting championship sometime.
Again, that's why, Dick, the balance of the Yankee lineup has always been very consistent, 1 through 9. Now we're seeing some new names because of injuries, but these are guys that came out of their system that are getting a chance to play with some future Hall of Famers, like a Derek Jeter.
1-1 to Cano. And now 1-2. Well, Baker, one good pitch away from getting out of this. And the squirrel trying to take a peek into the bullpen. Didn't find anybody interesting there. And Baker trying to finish off Cano and get off the field where he can stay dry. One and two to Robinson Cano. A fly ball, left center field. Young, Span calling for it to end the inning. Great job by Scott Baker to retire the Yankees without scoring. Got a little help from a furry friend.
That's a squirrely inning.
you know, you wonder how he got in here in the first place. But then how in the world is he going to get out? Unless he can find a drain somehow.
Maybe he's out by the trees out there in straightaway center. Maybe he came with the trees.
Part of the batter's eye? Like Christmas Vacation, the movie Christmas Vacation, where they brought in a pine tree and there was a squirrel in it.
Right. I want him to go up into the stands. Watch the people just run. Squirrel!
Well, they treated the mound in the home plate area. The rain continues to come down pretty hard here. And Burnett will face Kadire, Kubel, and Young.
Well, Brian O'Nora, the crew chief here, he's at first base tonight. He will stay in contact with Larry DeVito, and they will watch the monitor on where the storm is and how much they expect. There's Brian O'Nora.
Burnett will get his 8 tosses, and those tosses began just a few moments ago. Well, the squirrel probably heard about the Kestrel. We got all sorts of time on television, even in the newspapers, and we haven't seen the Kestrel since.
And the squirrel hopes we don't.
There's where the Kestrel sat on top of the right field foul pole. So as things progress over the years, we'll probably see larger forms of wildlife, deer, moose,
big bear,
a bear. Here's Kadire starting the 4th inning. Twins had a threat in the first, but Burnett got Kadire to bounce out to end that threat. And they put together a 2-out threat in the second. And Burnett got Span to bounce out to short to end that threat. And came back with a 7-pitch, 1-2-3 third. High fastball, a swing and a miss, 2 strikes.
I always thought in rain like this that the pitchers had the advantage because, you know, you're out on that mound. The hitter up there, we saw Robinson Cano last inning kind of wiping off the dirt on his, or the water on his bill.
Breaking ball wide of the plate, 1-2.
As long as your footing is good, I think the pitcher has the advantage.
You change jerseys at all if you were pitching in the rain?
Yeah, depending on how wet you got.
Well, Burnett's just been out there, but he already looks soaked. Fouled away and back into the seats. When you're out there, I mean, if it's raining really hard, you're kind of stuck out there in the elements. I don't know, you were a big rosin user, weren't you?
Yes.
Checked his swing 2-2.
That's a good take right there by Kadire, because Burnett in the past has struck him. He has been able to strike him out on that pitch. Camera guys out in the elements.
And now Kadire takes another off-speed pitch up high to fill the count. Kadire, Kubel, and Young. If you're a rosin user and you get this heavy rain, what's it do to the rosin bag? It turns it into a mush, I would think.
Well, just on top, not on the bottom. It's still dry. So you become Gaylord Perry for a couple innings.
Foul back. Kadire having a lengthy at bat.
There's a rosin bag.
High fastball gets him with a lightning bolt right over the Twins logo in center field. 1 away.
Burnett picks up his second strikeout of the ball game.
AT&T trivia tonight. Which pitcher has allowed the most career hits to Derek Jeter?
Jeter has 2,801 hits.
Ball 1. Well, you'd figure it'd be somebody in the American League East.
Say a guy like a Tim Wakefield.
Yeah.
Because he's played, I think, 16 years with Boston. Derek Jeter has been with the Yankees since 1995. This is his 16th season with the Yankees.
Roy Halladay, and Jeter, as great a pitcher as Halladay is. Knocked down by Miranda. Burnett covers. Kubel retired. 2 away. And that'll bring up Delman Young. And the other teams within the division really haven't had much in the way of a stable pitching staff. You think of the Red Sox or the Jays, guys who had at least one pitcher pitch a long time for them. Surely wouldn't be anybody with Tampa Bay or Baltimore you wouldn't think. It is really coming down, folks. And Young picks up high. That we are playing right now might suggest that they know it's not going to rain this hard very long.
Right.
Otherwise, I think we would have stopped it an inning or so ago. Swing and a miss. Ooh, into the Twins dugout. It took one hop over the railing. And everybody's all right. One and 2 to Delman Young. Got him with a breaking ball. And it's a 1-2-3 fourth after a 1-2-3 third. Scoreless going to the fifth.
It's Mikowski in the Minnesota State Lottery Winner's Circle, and I've got Marshall from Prior Lake here, and a stack of lottery tickets, $100 worth for Marshall. Look at this, Bert. He spent 4 hours making this sign, celebrating his 55th birthday tonight. You are now being circled by Bert, and all he wants for his birthday, if you lift that up just a little bit, Bert, there you go, is to be circled by you. Now, Marshall, how long did it take you to make this sign?
I spent all afternoon making this sign between doing a little bit of work in-house, but, not too much.
How long?
4 hours.
4 hours to make this sign, Bert. The least we could do is get him circled,
right?
Yeah,
nice job, Robbie. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you, says Bert.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Bert.
There you go, Bert.
Now we go to the fifth inning in a scoreless game. Nick Swisher, Juan Miranda, Francisco Cervelli facing Scott Baker. Yankees threatened in the fourth inning, but Baker did a great job keeping the Yankees off the board.
Yes, he did. 42 pitches for Baker in the first 4 innings, so great pitch count.
And strike one to Swisher, who struck out swinging in the second. A high pop-up to center field. Span calling for it. Making the catch. One away.
Well, when somebody hits a ball that high, you always say that'll bring rain, but it's too late.
You can vote for the 2010 All-Star teams that'll be playing in Anaheim. You can vote for Joe Mauer, Justin Morneau. Vote for all the Twins and the rest of your favorite major leaguers. Vote early vote often. You can go to twinsbaseball.com. You can get a ballot here at the ballpark if you'd like. Twinsbaseball.com, where Twins baseball is always on. How about that? Joe Mauer, in a so-called small market, leading all of baseball in voting right now, in the All-Star voting.
Well, I think, with him, the MVP last year, the 3 batting titles, baseball fans know. They know the good players they want to see at the All-Star game, and definitely Joe Mauer is one of those.
You see that elsewhere, too. I think the third outfield vote right now, third highest vote total went to Nelson Cruz of the Rangers, who's been a breakout player for the Rangers.
Well, what's going to help too, Dick, I think, is the Twins pack this place, 39,000 people every night. Hopefully everybody here votes for a Minnesota Twin. And Justin Morneau, he's not in the lead yet. Mark Teixeira is. There's no reason why. You got Miguel Cabrera, you got Justin Morneau. They should be 1-2 right there. Teixeira should be, maybe the way he's hitting right now, 5th or 6th on the ballot. But it'll all even out. I think Justin will end up hopefully getting the enough votes to be voted in.
2-2. And the rain still coming down. Miranda fouled out to third baseman Harris his first time up. The infield's starting to get that kind of sheen to it that you see when the dirt's taking a lot of water. Bouncer to second. Hudson looks like he took time to wipe the ball off there to get a good grip. You talk about somebody who knows what he's doing out there in the field. He knew he had time, and it looked like he wiped the ball on his pants.
Yeah, Miranda seemed like he hit that ball hard enough that Hudson came in, fielded it, kind of wiped it down his pants. Take a look right here. Orlando Hudson getting it cleanly and saying, okay. Very good.
2 down in the 5th, and here's Cervelli.
I think if you're a second baseman, you have time to do that. I don't want to see J.J. Hardy do that.
Cervelli with a bouncer to short. Quickly over to Hardy.
Get it over there.
And a 1-2-3, top of the 5th for Scott Baker. 8 pitches. He's completed 5 shutout innings with 50 pitches. Absent any key hits, the squirrel on the field's been the highlight of the game so far. Robbie Hintz, Mikowski, Tim Laudner, Bert Blyleven, and Dick Brainerd with you.
Well, both starters doing an outstanding job. Like you mentioned, Scott Baker, 5 shutout innings on 50 pitches, 34 have been strikes. Let's see if the Twins can get him some runs here. A.J. Burnett, he's worked 4 shutout innings. He's thrown 63 pitches, 37 for strikes.
Encouraging that were still playing. Larry DeVito, prior to the top of this inning, spent the inning break talking with Brian O'Nora, the crew chief. But significantly, the grounds crew's nowhere near the tarp. And you would think if it looked to the grounds crew and the people in charge of such things that we were going to have an interruption, the grounds crew would be over by the tarp. And I don't think they are. I think those are just fans sitting there. A lot of people, when you try to break in a glove, you get it soaked. Put some oil in it, and that guy's getting his glove soaked. Hardy with an extra base hit with 2 outs in the second. He cracked a double off the fence in right center.
Yeah, Denard Span led off the Twins offense with a base hit in the first inning, then Hardy's double. That's been it.
Wicked hop, fumbled briefly by Rodriguez, and he throws Hardy out. So Hardy put the barrel of the bat on it, and a 2-hopper becomes the first out of the inning.
Yeah, 8 straight outs for A.J. Burnett.
And now Brendan Harris, who drew so far the only walk issued by Burnett. Imagine Harris, who knew coming into this season that the Twins had a second baseman in Hudson. They had a new shortstop in Hardy. They're going to let Nick Punto probably play at third base. And then thinking, well, where in the world am I going to get playing time? And here he's gotten plenty of it. He just has not taken advantage of it offensively.
Again, Harris coming into the year a .267 career hitter.
Popped up, fouling out of play. Coming into the game, Harris had 80 at-bats, which is 15 hits. Played well defensively on the left side of the infield. Hasn't committed an error. But again, he's on this team because he's known as a hitter. He just hasn't done much of it yet. Breaking ball gets the inside corner, and Harris is called out for out number 2.
Yeah, Burnett picking up his 4th strikeout. I think what we've seen the last couple innings, Burnett having better control of that curveball.
Robbie Mikowski is downfield level. What's the field look like to you?
Well, it's obviously coming down pretty hard here, as we note the on-deck circle getting pretty full. But I've got my hands on the cleat cleaner here that was on the mound, and you can see it's almost all the way full with dirt that A.J. Burnett and Scott Baker were using to clean their cleats. And they have a substance called turfus that they are putting on the mound that we see as Denard Span lays a perfect bunt down the third base line. But I just asked Larry DeVito, the crew chief, what's going on? If it stays like this, are we going to go into delay? And he said, well, obviously it's up to the crew chief, Brian O'Nora, to see if we're going to continue playing here.
What a perfect bunt right there by Denard Span. With 2 outs, sometimes you say, okay, swing away. And I think A.J. Burnett did not like that right there. But Span, who stole a base in the first inning, see the perfect bunt right there. Burnett kind of picks it up and says, okay.
All right, you're a pitcher. Do you have a problem with that?
No, not at all. Not at all. That's part of the game. It's part of the game of baseball. And Span's job is to get on and maybe try to steal a base, and maybe Hudson can drive him in. It's a 0-0 ball game.
And my response as a fan would be, if you don't like it, bring your third baseman in.
And a couple throw-overs because Span may be trying to steal second. It would be a little more difficult because of the wet turf. And the mud piling on the shirt of Denard Span.
And Hudson lifts it foul over the Yankee dugout. I remember Nolan Ryan just reacted visibly whenever anybody bunted on him. I have no idea what it was like early in his career, but in the few times I got a chance to see him pitch, if a Twins player bunted on him, if anybody bunted on him, he took exception to that. And I often thought, from a hitter standpoint, if you're up there against Nolan Ryan and you figure to yourself, I've got no chance against this guy, why wouldn't you bunt?
Just put your bat out. If you bunt it hard enough, you get a double.
1 strike to Hudson. And they pitch out. The Yankees took some early hitting here, as most teams do when they're in a new ballpark or first day of a series. In this case, the Yankees also did some early throwing with their catchers, trying to have Tony Pena work with the catchers a little bit.
A pretty good guy to kind of help tutor you is Tony Pena. He had a great arm. The bench coach for Joe Girardi.
He's one of those guys that regularly threw from his knees, never bothered coming up out of the crouch.
He caught me in Pittsburgh when he first came up to the big leagues.
Span stays put. Hudson takes strike 2.
Again, that breaking ball, we saw it in the first couple innings. Burnett really struggled with that curveball. Remember Justin Morneau and Joe Mauer, he threw breaking balls that just stayed way outside. Now he's got a better feel for it. He struck out Delman Young on a good breaking ball down and away. Then he got Harris with a second out of this inning.
1-2 to Hudson. Span goes. Pitch is taken for ball 3, and Span will steal a base without a throw.
That's why you bunt right there. That's why Bernard's goal is to guess on the right pitch and then take off. Span steals his second base of the ball game, and again he went on a breaking ball. And Cervelli has no chance as he just tried to knock that ball down.
Span waited and waited and waited, and on the 4th pitch, figuring Burnett was going to deliver an off-speed pitch, he did, and Span took off with his second steal. 2-2 to Hudson. Got him. So Burnett looks over his shoulder at Span a little bit as Hudson strikes out. We've got no score through 5. Game, and we want to alert both our viewers and the people who have tickets for the game. We don't want you showing up here at 7 because the game starts at 6 and our coverage will begin at 5:30. And our coverage of this game has been interrupted.
Been covered.
Yes, it has. They decided to put the tarp on the field, and I must say they did so rather quickly. Imagine how many dozens of times the grounds crew here has practiced that, and now here in late May, they finally get a chance to do it.
Well, you know, you wonder if Brian O'Nora was just waiting because this is an official game now. You know, if they had put that tarp on in the 4th inning and the game is, say, called, then they have to start a whole new game. But right now, all the stats, all your at-bats, all your innings pitched, they are yours.
Right.
They go in the back of your bubblegum card.
And what
So if the Twins were to say, get rained out the rest of this ball game, they would maybe start tomorrow in the 6th inning. Game 1.
Kind of brings into focus, though, that last strikeout that wrapped up the 5th inning. If Span had scored, if Hudson had gotten a base hit to get him in from second base, this game would be stopped at least with the Twins leading 1-0.
Right.
Here's what's happened so far tonight. Not much offensively. The Twins had a threat in the first, left a couple of men on, a threat in the second, left a couple of men on, and then left Span on in the 5th.
I think that's one thing we have seen over not only this ball game, 5 men left on, and yesterday's ball game, 14 men left on against the Brewers. And then prior to that, even though the Twins won in 12 innings, 17 men left on Saturday against the Brewers. So Twins putting men on the bases, they're sometimes unable to get them in.
Well, the Twins got Span on board twice, got him into scoring position twice, just couldn't get him in. And the Yankees had one threat, a single and a walk to start the 4th, and then Baker came back to get Teixeira, Rodriguez, and Cano to keep them off the board. Mm-hmm. One of the target field first, our first game interruption here, as we have a rain delay with no score through 5. And the next time you're at a Twins merchandise outlet, maybe here at the Majestic Athletic Clubhouse at Target Field or one of the pro shops, you can purchase this cool print of Target Field created by artist Michael Brower called Home of the Twins. It's a contemporary view of Target Field and should be a great gift for any Twins fan. And right now the print is only available at Twins merchandise location. Robbie Ince-Mikowski was in the weather room, and you don't have your AMS seal, your American Meteorological Society seal, but what have you found out, sir?
Well, what I did find out is that realistically, bottom line, I think we're looking at a 30-minute delay here. The showers are moving steadily up by 35, a couple individual showers. So we're looking at, if it clears, 20 minutes with the delay, 10 minutes to get the field ready for a total of a 30-minute delay. But the guys in the weather room there seem pretty optimistic that it's going to be not a long one here tonight at Target Field. So these storms should be steadily moving away from downtown Minneapolis, and we should get back to business here before the night closes.
And Dick, that and Robbie, this is something that, back at the old Met, back in, till 1981, they didn't have the technology of seeing where the fronts are going and how quick they're going to go through. You just kind of sat and hoped that, the skies opened up so you could play a ball game. But, they've come so far as the technology of predicting when it's going to rain and how long it's going to stay.
And if it is a half hour, by the time the rain that you see now has fallen, it will be through the soil and out the drainage system with the state-of-the-art drainage they have underneath the field here. So
yeah, and at the old Met, I mean, my goodness, if it rained as much as it did already here, I mean, whoever went out to left field or center field, Cesar Tovar, I mean, you could go sliding practice out there. There'd be puddles all over the place.
We'll take a break and come back to rainy Target Field in a moment.